All right, people, I'm fangirling over here, might be the good way to say this. I have LaNisa Frederick here, and LaNisa, to me, one of the things that I got most excited about this conversation today is, first, everyone listening, I'm sure you know about hashtag booked, but if you don't, you can head over to Instagram right now and start to, sorry, you're just going to be sucked into it for hours now because she is so funny with her partner. And I'm going to let her talk more about that. But before we go there, just to give our audience a little bit of the many things that you do, the many things on the irons on the fire. What do we say here? The pots on the stove, right? Can you go walk us through a little bit of your hyphenates for a second?
The pots on the stove,
Yes.
the bowls in the microwaves. We need like new terminology now.
We do.
We need something new. Plants in your house. My multi-hyphenate things. Wow. You know, it's funny, like 5 years ago, I would not have said all of this because I'm an actor, period. That's it.
Yeah.
And then
Wait, and also because it was like, you're not allowed. Don't tell me you're anything else, because
Oh.
if you tell me you're anything else, we're going to get confused and you won't get cast.
Well, especially, and I just moved to LA 5 years ago. So I feel my experience in Chicago was so much of that. You were not allowed to talk about the other things you did, or it was, wait, you do something else too? You do this? And it wasn't seen as like you're not really invested in the one thing you do.
Yeah.
Fast forward, you get out here and you're doing 12 different things. Keep in mind, I've always done 12 different things because I had a full-time job working in the Chicago public schools. So I was doing that while sneaking off to auditions or nannying and taking babies to auditions with me and be like, can you hold this random white child? Because I got to run in here and book this commercial. Luckily, parents knew. They didn't know. They didn't know. But fast forward, get here, and all of a sudden I become a content creator. I get more involved in voiceover in ways that I never thought I would, doing more animation and video games. I start developing shows. We just sold officially our first show.
Yes, that is huge. Yes.
It's so huge. It's still, my manager is like, why are you not celebrating? I'm like, because I don't believe it still.
Wait, we will work on that in today's episode. We'll work on you believing.
Yes. So content creator, voiceover artist. I develop. I'm writing freelance on an animation. Yes, all the things.
Yes, and one of the things, the reason why I really wanted you to walk us through that a little bit is because what I see, and what I see is what everyone else sees on Instagram, so my impression of you is like what I research, it's sometimes like that's people's sizzle reel, but I actually feel like in the world with the way that you were so honest in the work that you put out with you and Danielle, like it isn't a sizzle reel. You're very honestly sharing with us where you are, like highs and lows and ups and downs and weird shit you encounter along the way, to be perfectly honest. And that is one of the things that really made me say, like, oh my gosh, can we please have LaNisa come be on the podcast, because I want to talk about this. And so I want to take us back to how it all kind of came to be. And you were in Chicago. I went to school in Chicago, and you and Danielle met in Chicago, right?
We did. I've been there for years and years. Chicago will always be a home to me. And I had graduated from school at Steppenwolf, where it was amazing, got all this amazing training. It was like my last hurrah. I was like, if this doesn't kick something off, then I quit. I remember asking the casting director at the time of the Goodman, I literally looked him in the face and was like, do I suck? Let's be honest, because I need to know, because I'm done. I'm actually done. He's like, no, LaNisa, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward,
Wait, but those blah, blah, blahs must have been good blah, blah, blahs, because you didn't quit.
I didn't quit. I think because sometimes, to be honest, like, I think sometimes I forget. I think my memory is so bad that the next day I'll get up and do it again, and I'll be like, oh, crap, I forgot I quit acting. I really do.
That is a really good creative memory, to forget that, like, you were pissed off the day before and be like, no, it's a new day. I got more enthusiasm for this again.
I just keep doing it. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? You said you quit. But fast forward, I ended up booking a understudy gig at Goodman Theater, which was a dream. And that's where I met Danielle. Yes. Goodman Theater is, one of the top regional theaters in the nation.
One of the best. Yes.
I love it. Danielle, it's funny, because, and she always makes fun of me, and she's like, I hate when you tell this story. When we
She's not here. She's not here. So
she ain't here. I'm gonna say it. But when we met, I'm very Midwest. I'm very like, let's give a hug. How are you? Theater, blah, blah, blah. She East Coast all the way through. So I go in, and keep in mind, she was very new to the area. I had been in Chicago, established. I knew folks, da 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 da. I go in to like give her love. Hello, I'm LaNisa. How are you? This girl give me her business card and shakes my hand. I was what the, what is this?
You were not a fan at first. I bet you were like, what is this? Yeah, I
I was
love
like,
it.
why did you give me a business card? What am I supposed to do with it? I gotta find it because I think I still got it somewhere. Like, it's like, who gives out? I was like, all right, girl. But what's beautiful about the Goodman, crazy and beautiful, was that part of the deal with their understudies is that you have to be there for all the rehearsals, and then for the performances, you have to be there from when your character says their first line to their last line. Both of our characters had the last line, so that means we were there the entire time.
Yes.
So we got in a lot of trouble because after a while, we're like, if I watch this show one more time, murder. And they had put rules because clearly understudies before had done some shady stuff. So they were like, do not go to the bar upstairs. You cannot play spades. And I was like, who?
You cannot play spades. I
was like, that sounds a little racist. What you mean? But we found other ways to get in trouble because, August Wilson did a lot of his work there, and he had his own office. So we found ways to like break in and be like, ooh, what's in here? My favorite was towards the end, there was this huge poster that I don't know why, I really wanted. The size of literally my wall. We stole it and ran on the train with it in the rain. I was like, girl, let's go. I really don't know why, never put it up. But I was like, it was like my reparations.
Yeah. Against the Goodman Theater, especially. I love it.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's how our relationship started.
Right. Sorry. And so, yeah, of course, it started in those giddy theater spaces that are so special, I think, where we know we're there for the same purpose, even when we're put on pause, I guess, in the understudy role, that you're like, you feel that special essence. So you guys connected there. And that was when was that? Was that 2018 or no?
No,
way before.
2013. 2013 or 14, yeah.
And you came to LA 2018, is that right?
I came here in 2017.
2017. And was that a pact? Was that a suicide pact for moving to LA?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all. She came in a year before me. Okay. And I was I'd been in Chicago for so long. I was getting frustrated because I was being seen as the understudy after a while, just because they knew they could rely on me. And I learned eventually, I was like, oh, it has to do with my talent, because they're like, we can trust LaNisa to do whatever we need her to do, which meant we're not going to put her in the lead because we need her in case these leads drop out. And that's what would happen. So I was doing roles, my last straw, I did a role that I was like, this lady is 65 and she sings. And they were like, LaNisa, we know you can do it. What? No. But my dumb butt was like, well, I guess I should. But that was my final straw. I remember putting in a contract, though, that they had to pay for my singing lessons. Because I was like, I don't sing like that. I sing, I don't sing.
Yeah.
So I was very adamant about that. But it was at that point I was like, I think I'm done. And Danielle had just came out because she was understudying at Geffen, and was like, you should come. It's time. But it was one of those, like, I mean, honestly, it was Chicago had a hold on me. I always thought that would be it. I was like, this is it. I'm here. But I think at that moment I was done.
I know you shared that, because I think that a lot of, like, I always say that annoyance is the birthplace of invention. Like, you were like, this does not fit anymore. This does not feel right anywhere. So, and of course, I'm assuming that having Danielle as someone who'd like been out here and taken a moment, like left some confidence of like, hey, you're going to be okay here. I've been here for a minute. I know what it's right. Right. But I'm wondering, do you see that belief of relying on what's secure showing up still in the work that you do? Or do you find a different kind of courage having lived that lesson?
Do I find that I feel like, and hopefully this answers your question, I feel like, honestly, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about having a horrible memory. And I think a lot of my belief just comes from the fact that I can brush off what happened and just keep moving forward. And maybe that's because there's that goal there. Because I
Mm,
have a goal that sometimes I don't know how to articulate, and I get jealous of people that can articulate it so perfectly and so well. But
yeah.
I still have a drive and a mission that keeps me going.
Yeah.
So I think it comes from that. I think
Yeah.
it stems from that.
Yeah, so can you do a crappy inarticulate version of naming your goal for a second for us?
Yes, absolutely. And
What
I
would
think what's beautiful is that they've changed over it's changed over years, you know? Um, my original goal was to sweep the floor at the Goodman. That's all I
Mm.
wanted. I wanted to be in a commercial and like sweep the floor. That's it.
Like crumbs from the table. You were gonna be like,
Right.
"I'm okay." Yeah.
Like, yeah, I did it, you
Yeah.
know? And then the more and more, I feel like the more and more you learn, the more you realize what you do and what you don't want to do. So now, honestly, my goal is to be happy in my craft and constantly working.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I want to be number one on a network series? I don't know.
Mm. Hmm.
Actually, I do not know. Now
Yeah.
that I am closer to that, I see it and I'm like, oh, don't know if I want that life.
Yeah.
I want to be consistently happy and I want to be consistently working in my craft, doing stories that I want to tell. So if that means that I am, number five, great. Number one's a lot of pressure.
Got
People think it's cute, but people are like, oh yeah, I just no, it's a lot of pressure.
it. Got it. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So
When
yeah, I think it's ever evolving. I would love to, now that we have sold our show, I am excited to go into this producing side. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to explore my directing side. Regina King is one of my idols,
Yeah.
and I love her career. I
Mm,
love what
mhm,
she's
mhm,
been able to do and manifest, and I
mhm.
see my career manifesting in that way.
Yeah, yeah, and it's such a great career to look at because you think about her being like the Spitfire that she was in Miss Congeniality to what she is now. Like, and not that it's not at the same actress, but it's the same. But you see the space that she's been able to take up, and I would say and I'd also like be really call it the industry of like that the industry allowed her to take up also because the industry is
Right,
backwards when it comes to this. Stuff. We're seeing more representation. I think
right.
we all want more, but I think that's the way that I would articulate that. When you're thinking, so can you give us a little more intel about the show?
I can't say much yet,
Okay.
but it's an animation.
Oh, great.
And yeah,
Great. Awesome.
Danielle and I co-created it, and we are way excited to get it underway. It's
Awesome.
going
I
to be
love it. I love
ridiculous.
it. So let's talk about hashtag booked for a minute. First of
Yeah,
all, okay, the delight on your like, okay, you know how you can tell when someone likes what they're doing and it is so much more entertaining to you. Like you can tell that they love being there. Like any of the videos at hashtag booked, I'm like, these people are having the most fun making these things that they're putting into the world. How did that start? So it started once you came to LA, right?
right.
Right.
But I
And
have
how
to
did
think
it begin?
about the seeds that we had planted before for both of us. Danielle went to Second City. I attended Second City. I performed at Second City. That was also one of my last gigs when I was like, okay, y'all, I'm done. Because they threw me in the main stage as an understudy, and I ended up doing weeks and weeks of runs.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't I'm classically trained. What do
Yeah.
you want from me?
Yeah.
So what had happened was, again, they ran out of black people. Black people were tired because they were like, y'all ain't treating us right.
Mm.
They needed understudies. Who do we call? LaNisa. And again, I go, okay, all right, here we go. I put in my contract that if I'm doing it, you have to give me free classes. So that was the
Mm.
deal.
So wait, Lenisa, wait. Because I hear a lot of people would be thinking about this is when you were putting these things in your contract, was it something that you were like, I'm going to ask for this? Was that something an agent was helping for you with? Was that something you were just like, I need to know what's going to work for me? Where did that inspiration come from to ask for that?
I think just knowing that I didn't feel comfortable doing it. And I am a big believer in training. I'm a big believer. I don't care if it's like, traditional training. I've gone to every school. I've done all the trainings, all the classes.
Yeah.
I'm just a big believer in like constantly evolving and learning. And so if you're going to put me in a situation where I don't feel as comfortable, at least give me a class or
Got it. Yeah.
two. to
Yeah.
help me in that. So yes, we both did Second City at different times. And while we were in the basement at Goodman, we would do things and just brainstorm and just think about, I don't know, our careers in general. Keep in mind, this is literally a 10 by 10 dressing room
Sure.
with all the understudies, because all the understudies got one dressing room. So it's five of us. And
Oh,
we
cozy. Cozy times. I mean, that is
very
not a big
cozy.
room.
Very, very cozy. So we got close.
Yeah.
We got real tight.
Mhm.
And then I think moving out here, I remember when I moved out here, or I came out here to go find apartments, because that was my first thing. I was like, all right, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to come out for like a couple weeks, look for an apartment. I slept on Danielle's couch, looked for apartments, found something, and was like, yay. We would have like just drunken night sessions of just chit chatting about either ridiculous stuff that we had experienced
Mhm.
or things that were our goals and dreams.
Mhm.
Fast
Mhm.
forward, when
Mhm.
I finally made the leap and came out here permanently, we would continue that.
Yes.
And for my goal, and I tell people this all the time, if you move out to LA, have one thing set. Be it, I
Mm.
have a commercial agent, I have
Mm.
a voiceover agent, I got a casting friend in a commercial place,
God, I love that.
something that you feel connected in that
Totally, and I
way.
love that because it can just be grounding, be like, "I am connected to the business." They don't have to be the answer to all the questions you have, but to have that one little there's a
Exactly.
line that is like, "I'm here for real," because I think it gives you the sense of, like, I'm actually here as opposed to I just moved to my
Exactly.
weird dream that doesn't no one cares about, like, you actually have a you're tethered to something. I love that advice. That's
Exactly. I
great.
felt tethered to something, and I had a commercial agent, and we were both going out for ridiculous, I mean, they're still ridiculous. Look, commercials have paid all the rent in the past few years, not gonna lie.
Yep,
That
yep.
seems to be my ministry right now, but they're wild as hell. And we were going in for like these young moms, or like young urban moms, and you'd go in and it'd be like a line of black women in cardigans.
Oh god. Oh, I heard yes, I remember your this is your wait, I've listened to I know about this cardigan. Keep going. I wanna hear you tell the story,
But
please.
that's what it was hilarious, because we were all like, "Wait, you got a cardigan? You got a cardigan? We all get. Why everybody got a cardigan for a mom? My mom don't wear no cardigan. Where did we decide that in a commercial you wear cardigans? Well, we do." So one night we're like drunk on whiskey. Danielle's, I didn't even have an iPhone. I was team Android. She has a broken iPhone like 4, and she's like, "Let's record." And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's plan it out." See, and this is how we
There's
work
you.
together well. We work together well in this way. I go, "All right, so let's think about it. So Monday we'll do this, and Tuesday da da." She's like, "Nah, do it right now." Oh, okay. And we did it. And we just created, with the help of her lovely husband, Jack, we just created. And you see it now. I look at it. And I think that's part, honestly, I never wanted to move away from that and get very polished.
Hmm.
I think that's part of our thing. I
Mm.
don't want to be polished. I don't want to be, that looks just too fake and, influencer to me.
Yeah.
So you look back at that first one, it's just like grainy, it's long. We
Ugh.
hadn't captured the idea of like, we can tell a story very quickly yet.
Yeah.
Um, but it's hilarious, because we actually ended up having the same cardigan. I was like, how do we both have this? So we ended up wearing the same cardigan for the sketch, and told friends like, "Hey, we did this sketch," and all of a sudden people are sharing it and it's taking off and it's relating, and we're like, "Oh shit, we did something." Not
Yeah.
even realizing it.
Yeah, and what's I love what you're saying about this because I think a lot of people who think about content will say like, "Well, I can't talk about the acting stuff because I'm an actor and that's boring. Like I can't." So what I also love that you did is you're like, "This is our real life we're talking about here, and we're actually making fun of it, also being really open about this real experience that we're having." As a because I think a lot of actors would gravitate to, or they need to tell a different story. It can't be what's really happening in my life, and so the honesty of it, I think, is where But when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is." I'm laughing hysterically when looking at this. So have you found over the I know you're saying like, it doesn't have to be too polished for it to work, but what have you found is the power of like that short content? Like what does that mean to you when I say that?
I think as an actor, it's honestly made me process quicker. I am
Mm.
definitely being the the way my training was set up. I will, analyze the hell out of a script. I will, what does he want? What does she want? What do they want? Da, 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 da. What did the character say about this? Like I trained, Danielle and I both have our masters from England.
Right.
So my training was very much like you sit in a pub and you get your little cider and for 10 hours you go analyze the
You
hell out of this.
dramaturg that thing. You go through everything. Yes, yes.
You get out here and they're like, hi, so we have a guest star and it's due in 3 minutes. Go. So I think honestly, creating that short content made me work faster. It
Got it.
made me see the power in working faster. It made me trust myself more. I think it made
Mm,
me, because I was so used to like over analyzing everything, I was like, I ain't got time.
mm,
You got 60 seconds.
yeah. But
It
how do
also
you see
taught us editing.
yeah. How do you so 4 years in though, how do you see how your even your classical training has helped you here? Because it has. I'm certain you have a connection in your brain. Can you help our listeners kind of understand how you connect the dots there?
Yeah, I think that having that base is key. I would not give it up for the world. I complain all the time about my training and I'm like, I want my money back. But at the end of the day, I see how each piece has made me and has
Mm,
made me not only as a creator, but as a resilient business person. Because I
mm,
think one of the things that they don't teach you, and we talk about this a lot, they don't teach you the business.
mm-mm,
I
mm-mm.
could do check off all day. Give me Masha.
Oh,
Come
you're in
on,
mourning. She's in mourning for her life today, ladies and gentlemen.
morning. Got you.
Yes.
But I had no idea what the hell all these W-2s came from. I was like, well, I got 15 W-2s. What am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
They don't teach you that side. They don't teach you that as much. So I think like utilizing all these pieces of training makes you put together your package. So
Yeah.
I think they're all relevant
Yeah.
because you're going to use them in so many different ways that you don't even know yet. I was teaching at I'm also I stopped now, but I was working at a college here in LA. And that was one of the things that I instilled so much. You know, half the time they're like, hey, we're going to do this scene. And I was like, no, today we're going to go through the business. You
Yes.
know, we're going to
Thank
explore
you.
that. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, oh. I'm like, are you ready for this? Are
Yeah.
you ready?
Yeah, and I love the way you said that because LaNisa, I think that what happens is an actor who's got really, really good training can be so steeped in the best way in believing in themselves, but
Right.
then that gap between understanding their talent and how it fits into the business can be the reason someone gives up. Can be the reason that they don't
Absolutely.
understand that they're totally valued and needed and their gifts are meant to be shared. But that gap can suddenly be like, no one wants me. I can't, I'm not getting like there, it can really screw up the story that they're telling themselves around how they fit in.
Yeah,
Like,
and it
so,
is hard. So you
yeah,
have to have that real like talk with yourself. Am I be I'm a business. I am a business. When I think about, all the people from my college that continued, there are some brilliant actors there. 90% of them didn't continue because no
mm,
one that gap, they had
yeah.
that gap.
So, uh, 4 years into hashtag booked, and you're still making stuff. How do
I'm
you
still
stay
doing it.
inspired? How do you stay inspired in that work?
I mean, Danielle and I both I think we had to come to Jesus and we were like, hey, we only want to do stuff that resonates with us. So if it's something that sparks with us, we want to do it.
Mm,
I think for me, I like, Danielle is so successful in her personal page too. She's on Ghost now.
yeah.
I had to figure out like, all right, what is my goal with it? So I
Mm,
use hashtag booked as that therapy and release based on my day-to-day experiences, based on both of our experiences. Like when I call her and be like, girl, I went to set today and the lady that had no makeup for my skin color. Cool, let's do a sketch. Boom. That inspired us. I don't feel the need to always do that on my personal page. I keep up with it, da
yeah.
da 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 da. But for me, hashtag booked is that therapy and it is that constant inspiration of what goes on in my life daily
Mm,
within the industry or the things that I want to talk about within the industry, be it through voiceover or auditions or agents or managers. Uh, it's not hard to have a dearth of inspiration.
Yes. Yes, but I love what you said that, like, it is my release for some of the stuff that I'm carrying. I love that that's how you described it. And then if I really get clear, I love that the description they have, it's a online series examining the joys and misfortunes of being an actress of color in the entertainment industry. And I want to check in with you because, it started in 2018. We saw, the world wake up again, I guess you could say, or wisen
Right.
up a little bit more in June of 2020 with the murder of George Floyd. And as you're moving through this, did that change the story for you at all? Did it change anything for you in terms of how you were presenting or how you wanted to put it into the world? I'm just curious what that was like for y'all.
I don't think so, because at the core of it, we both Black, and so this is every day. Like there might be days where we're like, I don't feel like laughing.
Mm,
I want to tell this story. So like one of the things we did was when Brianna was killed,
mhm,
we had a lot of different actors give her a happy birthday, and posted that because that's what felt authentic for us.
yeah.
What's recently happened with Roe versus Wade. It's funny. I was looking through our sketches when we heard the news, and she texted me and was like, I'm going to repost Handmaid's Tale. And I was like, brilliant minds. I'm downloading it right now. So we went back and forth and talked about like, all right, which one is the best that, encapsulates this. Cause it's not funny,
No.
but it's so relevant to what we're going through, and it's our release. So I
Yeah.
don't know if there's ever been like a shift. I think the biggest thing was, let's do things that inspire us and that are close to our heart currently.
Mm,
And being Black women, we're always thinking, we're always figuring something out, we're always seeing another side of things. We don't have the privilege of shutting things out.
mm.
So as a result of that, like, no, things haven't changed. They might evolve in a way, in how we tell them, but it's still the same story.
Yeah, I love the way you said that. And I also love, I mean, y'all need to go see the Handmaid's Tale one because I looked at it today. It's great. It's really
It's
great.
so foolish.
Yeah. It's
And I hate the fact that both of us have actual like outfits that kind of
oh, I was like, did they go shop? Did they already have these outfits? I had all the thoughts about it when
like,
I watched it.
why?
Yeah.
Why?
So how has, and you covered this a little bit, but I'd like to really like get a little crystallized on that. How do you think hashtag booked has affected your career in terms of business? Have you noticed a change there?
Oh yeah, for sure. Sometimes I want to deny it because I'm like, I don't want to make anything today. But then I have to say, sit down. You don't have to. It's okay. You're not a bad person if you didn't
Yeah.
make
You're not a
something
bad
today.
person. That's exactly right.
Which is hard. There are some
Yes.
days I'll go like, you're so bad. You are a bad person. You did not post this today.
Yeah.
Let that go. Let that go.
Let
But
everyone listening let it go. Everyone, when you're listening to this today, you don't post
let it
today.
go.
It is okay.
It's okay. It's gonna come back tomorrow. Ain't no, people don't forget about stuff we posted anyway a week ago. Let it go.
Yeah.
You're not a bad person.
Yeah.
It's so easy to go through that as actors, especially as we saw the shift in utilizing social media as our business.
Mm.
But I have to say, social media has been hugely influential in not only how I perceive myself, because now I have a mirror where I can constantly watch, not just
Mm.
the self tape, not just some random audition where I had to go down to 200 La Brea and go in and out. So there's another type of mirror where I can constantly critique. There's another mirror where I can constantly grow.
Mhm.
One of my things that I used to do is I used to blink a lot as an actor, like always blinking.
Got it.
Now watching myself on the sketches, I'm like, oh, okay, I can control that in this way. I
Uh,
wouldn't have known that had I not put myself out there in
yeah.
that way. Also, just things personally, like looking at like, oh, so with makeup, this can be the character. This is my brand. Without, I can do this.
Yeah.
So understanding how your branding fully, because I just have so much content now to do so.
Yeah.
I will also say within the business, like, once we started taking off, Danielle and I were getting like DMs that we were like, what? How are they emailing us? Be it managers or lit agents or other people, like other celebrities. There have been so many people of influence that we respect that have reached out and have simply just said, we see what you're doing. Congrats. If you need us, we got you,
Oh, I love that. I love
which
it.
is beautiful. Like
Yeah.
one of our biggest supporters, Yvette Nicole Brown, sweetest heart ever, so sweet. She literally emailed us and was like, "Whatever you need, I got you."
Oh, That's
I
amazing.
got, and she
Go
does.
ahead.
If I can tell this story,
Yeah.
so I auditioned for some small little guest star on The Big Shot, which is the show that she's on what is that? Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I think it's on Disney Plus. Shame on me. Um, auditioned for a small little role. Got called, or I got put on. I got pinned. I think I didn't get it. I text her. I was like, "Oh, I was hoping to see you on set. Did not get this role. It's all good. One day." And she texts me back, "Why the hell did you not tell me beforehand?" I don't know. She's like, "I need you to open your mouth." Okay. She's like, "Don't worry about it." 2 days later, my manager called and was like, "Hey, you're booked as a teacher guest role on this show." And I'm like, "What happened?
Yes.
How?" But the thing is, Yvette's seen my work. So if somebody is, if she goes to someone and says, "Hey, I know you didn't cast LaNisa for this role. Here's her work. If there's another guest somewhere, let her in." And it happened, and it was beautiful. She was so sweet the day of set, or the day of shooting. Amazing on set. One thing that I noticed she did, and this, what I'm learning is different levels you get. I'm like, oh, this is how it works. Okay, because you're constantly learning. You're
Yeah.
constantly learning. Get to set. My character has a name, but it was never said during anyone's lines.
Uh-huh.
She went around to every actor and was like, "I need you to make sure you say her name." She was like, "I'm establishing your character." And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even click.
Yeah.
Who knows if I'll come back?
Right.
But for her to be like, "I'm going to establish your character."
Yeah.
So people know, like, oh, Mrs. Smith is coming back. They're not like, "Who's that?" They know that that's me now. So
Yeah.
things like that, and understanding how that side of the world works, has definitely, I know that went on a long journey from how hashtag book has influenced, but has definitely just taught me so much. And I think, honestly, hashtag book has helped to create that.
Yeah. And actually, I'm really glad you took us on that journey because I think a lot of actors would have the limiting belief around connecting with someone or staying connected to them, like the reach out that you did afterwards and all that, even though she was like, actually, you could reach out to me next time, even sooner. Like, just even those things, I really want that to inspire people to realize that there are people who want to help. And one
Yeah,
of the beautiful things that LaNisa, I'm going to just kind of run this down for everybody who didn't miss it, is she has work in the world that people can also see. So it isn't just like, look, I met this random person who I think is really fun on Instagram, and look at, here's where you can see your footage. Here's where there's more, there's the evidence to back it up is such an important piece of it. But what it shouldn't do, that shouldn't inspire anyone to stay small and not take up space. It should be, oh, great, I'm going to continue to put stuff out because that will build my library of evidence. I'm always talking about how I think the business has become very evidence based, especially after 2020, where everyone's self-taping at home. It's like, I don't even care about your resume. Show me you can do this kind of character because I know you can
right.
tape it at home with your phone. Like, we need to see so much footage. I think that's another piece of it. And then the other thing that you said, oh, I don't want to forget it. What you said about just one, I want to just underline staying in touch with the people who reach out to you and say, hey, I'm a fan, or hey, I'm interested. Like, that is a huge piece of it. And the other is what you learned from making the content. You said like about makeup and about blinking and all that stuff. I think a lot of times we can have our sole focus be, I'm making content so that a cast director will notice me, will call me in for a co-star, as opposed to look at all the other incredible things that you get to learn in the journey of the creation. So if we can just believe that whatever's inspired you to create that sketch today or work with your friends on whatever that thing is, it's going to bring you lessons that aren't the only thing you think. Like, it's not just that one thing. And I think that's important for people to
I think,
be reminded.
too, again, I'm very forgetful. So when I make it, I forget that people watch. So it's, for both of us, I don't think it's ever been about, let's do it so Vicky Thomas can watch this.
Mm,
Let's do it so blah, 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 blah. It's, we just do what we want to do. And then we're like, oh, that resonated with blah, blah, blah. That's hilarious. Ha ha ha.
yeah.
I forget that people, the commercial audition callback I was at this morning, this lady came up to me, and this happens to both of us, and Danielle and I will text each other, "Oh my God, I love you," and hashtag book. And I'm like, I have done all these things. I have worked so hard. My resume is so deep. I've done Shakespeare in London. And you knew me from a 30-second sketch? That's deep, y'all. That's deep.
It
Cool, cool,
is,
cool, cool,
right?
cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's almost it's like local celebrity and like international celebrity almost feels like, right? Like, and what's beautiful, I think, all about hashtag booked is that because I heard you speaking on another podcast where you had said that people, the thing you get responses a lot of times from people when they are seeing what you put out is people saying they feel seen. And is
Right.
that still the message you get from people?
Oh, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
everyone goes, I relate to this. And for even me, I still forget that other people can relate to it. I threw out the sketch where it's funny. I sometimes I have stuff in, backpiled for months. I pulled out a sketch that I had done at home in Ohio in November. And I was like, we'll see, whatever. I'll throw it up there. And it went crazy. And it was me playing like the second AD on a
Yes, I
commercial
know.
shoot.
I know the one. So good.
And that was my brother. I told my brother, I was like, hold the phone like this and just do this, follow me back and forth. And he's like, okay. We're bored after Thanksgiving. Like, do this real quick. That had been in my stockpile for like 6 months.
Wow.
And I hadn't thought about it. I was like, oh, just throw that out there. And it resonated with people universally. It was on like sites for crew.
I love
So
it.
crew
Oh,
members were then like, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm like, oh, I literally just mimicked what I saw when I get to set.
yeah. Oh, I
That's
love
it.
it. I love it. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who are inspired and maybe even frightened by like how successful it's been. Like, how could I ever make something like that? Having all the different thoughts of all the things that come up when we see people being successful that we love, and also being scared, like, could I ever? What's something that you really would want to say to any of the people listening that you want to really leave with them?
I would say let it all go. Let it go. It's not, look, there is a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. You cannot let your whole energy go to whether or not you have a viral sketch. I know some people that have gotten frustrated because they're like, nothing's going viral. I mean, you can't look at it in that capacity. You can't look at it in like, oh, will I be famous from this? You put it out there and you let it go.
Yeah.
You can't hold on to it. It's just like an audition. You finish an audition, I will save maybe my sides for maybe a week. And then I recycle them. Let it go.
You let it go. Yes. Yes, I totally get it. They get the energy for a week, and then we know that we are moving on now because
You're moving on.
yeah, we are moving on. And if Danielle was here, would she say anything you haven't said today that she's learned from this process, do you think? What do you observe in her? She's a really, really good friend of yours, and you've seen her through this. So I'm just curious, if
Yeah.
you like, when you see her, is there some new quality you see in her, something you notice about her that you want to celebrate?
Yeah, I absolutely think just the confidence in what she's doing, the belief in what she's doing. Because sometimes it would be funny. She'll be like, LaNisa, I can't believe that, da 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 da. And I'm like, how can you not believe that? You're brilliant. So being able to see her growth in understanding her brilliance has been, I'm going to cry, has been absolutely amazing. Because, we came from the basement.
You just wanted to sweep at the Goodman. I remember.
We wanted to sweep at the Goodman. When I met her, where was she living? It was somewhere, I think, shady.
Okay.
So,
okay.
so I just honestly think like the belief in herself and her brilliance, being able to witness how she sees that now and how she sees herself, and understanding that she is like, she's fucking amazing. I don't know how she does it all. I'd be like, girl, I'm about to take a nap. I'm taking a nap. I'm good on that. I'll post on the page. I'm good. But just seeing her brilliance and how she does it all and finds a way to work to balance, and honestly, her vulnerability. Remember what I said when I first met her? She gave me her damn business card.
Right. Yeah.
Now she will tell her full story, and I think that's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a really good image of growth there. So stepping out of yourself for a second, and you look at yourself, what are you most proud of in this whole journey?
That I didn't stop. That I guess I haven't limited myself as much as I want to limit myself. I don't know if other people feel this, but sometimes you have that thing that's like, no, you're not doing that. You can't go down that route. for example, writing. I was like, I'm not a writer. I don't do this. But then again, I'm forgetful. I'll wake up and I'll start writing. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm a writer. So I think my inability to not limit myself, and I just say yes to experiences to see what happens. I say yes to things and see, if this sticks. So I think that's the biggest thing that I'm proud of, especially looking back when all I wanted to do was become, union and sweep the Goodman floor.
Yeah. And if anyone could take this away, even as I love what you said, LaNisa, is like the dream got bigger. I allowed the dream to get bigger. I noticed, like, I don't want just that. I want so much more than that. And I just appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for being here today and sharing so honestly what your experience has been like. And I just cannot say enough about, y'all better run over and look at #booked, because I know it's going to inspire you in so many different ways, both the mere fact that it exists, but also the stories that they're telling in these short sketches that really pack a punch. And I'm so grateful for your willingness to share what this has been like for you. And we cannot wait for the show when it comes out. You'll make sure we all know about it. And thank you for joining us today. And everyone, just so we're all very clear, it is #booked. Spell out the word #booked and you will find them.
Exactly. If I could say two things.
Yes, please tell us.
Number one, we're really excited because we just recently also became an LLC. So we are our own business. We are a brand. #booked is more than just the sketches. Okay. So we are developing that into a television show, which will be amazing.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. So not only a television show, we are coming out with our merch. So by the time this is released, our merch will be out. So our #booked merch, please pick that up.
Wait, where can we find the merch? On the web, on the Instagram, or on the website? Okay,
great. Go on the Instagram. Right. Just go on the Instagram. But yes, we are a brand. Yeah. So we recently collaborated with Shadow and Act and Blavity, and we're creating content for them and working with them. We've done some brand deals as well. So it's not just the sketches. Accidentally, we became a whole business. And I love it because it's another side that we didn't understand to explore. Number two, we've met and it just clicked. Let me tell you why it clicked, because I saw your background.
Where?
We met at, you had like I had just moved here, like an introductory come and see the class kind of thing.
Was it? I was probably when I used to work out of a studio in like West Hollywood, and
it was next to Whole Foods.
Yeah, I used to teach a master class there. But wait, shut up! We have you guys. I love at the end of our interview that we finished.
I know it clicked. Let me tell you why it clicked. The blue that's in your office now reminded me of the blue that was in where I was when I first met you.
Yeah, your brain is quite amazing because I would not have connected.
Forgetful, but amazing.
Well, I hope the class clearly was memorable.
No, I was actually going to say, like, it was such a great class. I don't remember whoever was there that day had brought in new headshots, and the way that you went boom, 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 I was like, oh shit, he know his shit, because you organized them so well, and you were like, no, not this one. Why would you do this? Da 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 da. Yes, this one. This is your brand. I was like, oh, it helped click a lot of things about headshots and branding. So you legit cracked me up that I was like, I know you.
Oh God, I love it. I love it.
I was at the end. 2017.
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure. I was doing it then, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for that little shout out. I appreciate it. All right, we will link to everything in the show notes, y'all. Also, if you want to see this conversation, it is on YouTube where you can see us really talking it through. And we make a lot of crazy faces, so you got to do it. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll have to have you back. And please give all of our love to Danielle as well, because we.
Thank you. Will do. Will do. Yeah.